the rock. You physically couldn't hold me, I don't care if you pushing 40. You can never little bro me. Euro step like Ginobili, from young OG to the OG. From nosebleeds to floor seats. Circle stronger than Cuban links. My gold dance, your gold plated. You verse me, now that's the reach. We ready.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the One-on-One Sports Show here on the BMU Network. I am Mr. Bennett, followed by my partners, as always, Brother Shawnee and Coach Ferg, waiting for Dante. He'll be showing up any minute, but good to have you guys here on this Wednesday, on this second week in October. So we got a lot going on. So we got the AL and NLCS is going on. We're got week 6 of the NFL in the books going into week 7, and certainly the college scene is starting to take shape. So we got a lot of things going on in certainly in the world of sports. But again, we thank you guys for being with us as you come in. So make sure you hit the like button when you come in. Consider dropping a cash app to the network or to us. If you see on the bottom of the screen, you'll see our cash app start scrolling shortly. But again, consider supporting the BMU network. And, definitely hit that like button on the way in. Fear No Mortality Parley. Again, good. Thank you for dropping in and seeing us tonight. Good to have you here. But just want to take a pulse of the room before we get into this. And, so again, lots to talk about, especially in Dallas, as always. You guys always find a way to dominate the news cycle somehow. But, Brother Shawnee, how are you, sir? What's going on?
I'm good. I mean, I got the little one in the background, so she may be making special guest appearances sometime during the show.
That's good. That's dope. So, how about you, Coach? What's going on?
What's up, fellas? How y'all doing on this Wednesday, man?
I can't complain, man. Can't complain. I'm looking forward. I want to start out with a little baseball. So, I am a lifelong Yankee fan since 1977. My favorite player is Reggie Jackson. And especially in those days, it brings back the memory of the Yankees-Dodgers. So they played World Series in 77, 78, and 81. Yankees took 2 out of 3 of those. And all I can say is this. If baseball wanted anything, if it could have its druthers, it would. The Subway Series with the Yankees and the Mets, I'm sure, certainly that'll do certainly well in the Northeast. But a Yankees-Dodgers World Series, I think, Ohtani and Judge going at it, I don't think it gets any better than that. And so I think the MLB is praying that, that comes down. But I don't know how much of the baseball you guys have been able to watch and how much you had a chance to check out. But what say you from what you've either seen of it or just the prospect of having, clearly the faces of MLB? I can't think of bigger stars. If I'm missing somebody, you let me know. But what do you think of the prospect of Yankees in LA in the World Series this year? What do you think that does for baseball?
Well, if the Dodgers make it, because basically national media only pay attention to currently 2 names, Judge and Ohtani. Mm-hmm. They used to pay a lot of attention to Trout, but Trout, as soon as you start paying him attention, he'll get hurt. Then you just don't hear nothing about him the rest of the season.
Yeah.
So definitely nationwide, I'm pretty sure people more likely to see the Yankees-Dodgers. I remember when the Subway Series happened in the early 2000s. Yeah, it was great for New York, but the rest of us, we didn't care. They were saying even the ratings were showing that. They said the rating was high in New York, but the rest of the country, we didn't care. I think if it was an Astros-Yankees ALCS, I think those numbers would be high because those 2 teams, especially the past 7 years or something, became a strong rivalry. I think they're nowhere near the all-time rivalry of Red Sox Yankees, but I think this decade, especially in the playoffs, they've been pretty big. And I think I remember their numbers was pulling in some good views. As far as the 2 championship series, with this one playing right now, the Mets and the Dodgers, it's just weird how the Mets, and I guess this is the thing about baseball. I guess if you're a baseball fan, I don't really know if you love it or you kind of wish it would change, because all the other sports, football, injuries can play a major part, but generally if you are the better football and both teams come up somewhat healthy, usually the better football team wins. Now, when the underdog team wins, they treat it like a big upset. Baseball is hard to do that. Baseball, especially when the Astros lost against this wild card series, I mean, it's not nothing to lose 2 games and then you go home.
Right.
So baseball, this whole team. That's how the Rangers end up winning it all. They came in the playoffs last year limping, but the hottest team literally in baseball typically goes on and win the World Series. So right now, that hottest team right now is the Mets, because just in September, the Mets was not doing that well at all. And then all of a sudden, bam, they get hot right before October, and they already went through, I think they went through the Braves. They upset the Phillies. I think the Dodgers won the most games in the NL. Now, I think they got a good chance of beating the Dodgers because they have the pitching. I think Dodgers pitching, especially starting pitching, is getting really thin. So, I guess this is baseball. The best team doesn't always win in baseball. It's just these hot teams, and that can. Good luck if there was like a bracket for Major League Baseball playoffs. I think many people will lose.
Yeah.
It's just the underdogs just always win. The favorites just don't win. A lot of times they don't even make it to the World Series.
Right. Yeah, people find the time to get cold, and that's I think certainly
Exactly.
the Yankees and Aaron Judge. I mean, certainly he hit that home run last night, and I think that was probably a big monkey off his back because again, he just hasn't. I mean, I think part of it. I mean, going up against Houston every year. I mean, that's never that's like that's like the Knicks trying to get past Jordan in the Bulls. For a while. But now, we'll see how he performs the rest of the series. I mean, certainly Stanton has definitely stepped up his game in these playoffs, and he certainly delivered big for them. But Coach Ferg, so what are you looking at? Concerning baseball, or what do you think of the prospects? I mean, I don't think anyone necessarily wants to see Cleveland and the Mets. I think that'd probably be like the worst. That'd be the worst outcome if you see Cleveland and the Mets, unless you're a diehard Mets fan or what? In fact, I forgot. I'm so out of baseball. What's their name now? It's no longer the Indians.
It's
Guardians.
The Guardians. Yeah. So
I have a question before I answer this question.
Sure
I have
thing.
a question for y'all. Did any of y'all play baseball?
no, not
Okay.
organized. No.
Don't even explain. Because
Mhm.
if most baseball fans play baseball. Even as kids, that's what most white people, they start out playing baseball. They
Right.
ain't playing football or basketball. And I would say it's probably, I wish more young black kids would play baseball. Really? Because baseball it's 9-on-9 straight up and down. The pitcher has to pitch. He has to be able to pitch. The fielders have to be able to catch the ball and make the play. Simple. Now,
Right.
I agree with you, Mr. Bennett. I think far as today, in this era of highlighted baseball, it would be probably the most watched World Series in all-time history if Judge and Ohtani was to be versus each other, going from LA to New York. That would be probably one of the longest series, especially now because that travel time. So it would be like a 2-3 week series almost.
Yeah.
And I would think that would just be a great, like captivation for the end of the baseball season. The Yankees, they proved that they tough. And I don't know, but the Mets, they got to watch out for the Dodgers because the Dodgers are, they are one of the best teams they're not one of the best teams for nothing. They have earned that spot. So, but if the Mets stay hot, now they have to win this next game. If the Dodgers win the next game, it's going to be a tough one. But even though it's going 7, it's still going to be tough because now they go back to LA where Ohtani like to hit it over into the Pacific sometime. So, But as far as the Yankees, if they play consistent, when the last time they won a World Series? Been about 10, 15 years.
Yeah, 2009. Yeah.
So it's been a while. So I think if they keep playing, I think as far as the views, it'd be off the chain. LA against the Dodgers. I mean, the Dodgers against the Yankees. Yeah, that'd be history in the making because you're talking about 2 phenomenal home run hitters.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
Well, I got
And
a
just the
question about
matchup. I mean, you want to talk about national matchups, and we all talk about
Yeah.
like Celtics Lakers, right? I mean, that's as East West as it gets. You know what I mean? But I think, but certainly I think in baseball, even though it's weird because they don't even play each other that often, so it's kind of hard to call it a rivalry. But I think there's just so much history there, going back again to the 50s and all those matchups.
I think they're starting to play each other now because I think the MLB is starting to basically each team play every team in the majors now. So
Yeah.
say if the Yankees play the Dodgers in LA for one series, the next year is flip-flop. So I think they just started doing that last season.
Right.
Where every team, because I remember you used to play your division rivals like 19 times a year. That went down, so you can start playing other teams. So now you start seeing teams that you don't normally see play against each other in a regular season. Now they're starting to because MLB changed up their schedule and whatnot.
Right. But that rivalry was made, though, in the World Series, though. Like I said, that's what I'm talking about. You talk about the 50s. You talk about the 70s. Just same with the Celtics and Lakers. Now, again, I think it's still the case today. Like the Celtics and Lakers, even today, only play each other twice a year. They make that road trip, but most of the trip is going to be in the East and then your conference. But they kept going back and forth every year. And again, those 50s teams, when the Dodgers were in Brooklyn and then they moved to LA, and then again, you had the 70s teams, you kind of had that back and forth. So it captured the national attention. And I think people, especially if you're hardcore into baseball, you still remember that. You remember those names, Garvey and Guerrero and who was that pitcher that Jose Valenzuela and those guys. I mean, if you're that nostalgia, and it's just like the Steelers and Cowboys. It's like they talk about it every time that matchup comes up, even though they play each other once every 4 years. And every time it comes up, what do? They start playing that Super Bowl 10 footage, that Super Bowl 13 footage and whatnot. So again,
like they only play once every 4 years. So I can definitely understand it in football.
Yeah. So it definitely has that appeal to it. So I think for the MLB, I think that would, like I said, that would be the dream matchup for them. They're going to promote the heck out of it, and I think even
ESPN.
globally. Because, and I mean, Japan, certainly with Otani and the East Asia coming in, they got so many avenues with which to exploit that. So, so definitely, as much as I'd like Poppy, as much as I'd like to see another Subway Series, but again, like I said, it's been a minute. It's been since '81, since the last time we had Yankees and Dodgers in the World Series. So, certainly, I think that would be something that would definitely, and Lord knows baseball certainly needs the ratings because no major topic. I mean, we might be one of the few no one really even talks about it. ESPN, Fox. I mean, who's talking baseball unless it's the shows that are dedicated to baseball, but rarely do they make the even the A block in any show.
Because it's such a regional sport, and then they're viewing their TV deals, I think by far the worst.
It doesn't matter with baseball, fellas. It doesn't matter. Baseball is America's sport. Football is black people's sport. Baseball these kids play baseball all over the country in every little nook and cranny. That's why it's worldwide. That's why you have even the Latinos guys from play. They coming in, they just have a field and they out there swinging and betting. Now, Mr. Bennett, I agree with you as far as if this was to be able to happen as far as the Yankees and the Dodgers, yes, for the ratings, yes. But as far as, guess what? They still got to beat the Mets because the Mets are good. Like you said, they one of the best teams on the road since the All-Stars. So they in a rhythm. One mistake. And baseball ain't like
they were able to, obviously they were able to capture the home field, which is all you want, right? You want to go to wanna go on the road. They got the split. Now, can they hang on to it?
Does home field really matter in baseball, though?
That's what I'm saying. It's about that man every day.
Because it depends. You can be at home, but if the other team throw in there like their stud pitcher.
Right. Well, I think especially in New York again. I'm not going to say I'm a struggling Yankee fan. Tell about what are you talking about struggling Yankee fan when you got 27 World Series championships, but certainly playing in New York. I've seen it with many a Yankee team and a Mets team. When it comes to the postseason, a lot of guys lock up. That's why guys like Derek Jeter are so revered, because he was always clutch.
Reggie Jackson, again, they call him Mr. October, and he was doing that before he came to New York, but he brought that to New York, and he's certainly known for especially the closing game in the 77 series, hitting the 3 home runs. But I've seen a lot of guys choke up, who had big monster years. Alex Rodriguez, how many times were they got to the playoffs or whatnot? He had that one breakout in 2009, and he kind of got the monkey off his back then, but how many times did he kind of whiff it in the playoffs as well? So
he wasn't a true Yankee. He wasn't a true Yankee. He played for Seattle for a lot of years. He wasn't a true Yankee.
Did.
He got big money in Texas.
Absolutely, but he certainly got he played the most of his career, from what I understand. He played most of his career with New York. So all those years there, at least he had 10 plus with the Yankees. So so certainly, but I agree. I mean, as long as Jeter, because again they had that beef for all those years. They were best friends for a while, then they got sideways somehow, and so that was always
I heard
like a
the story, but I can't
relationship.
remember in details. But I remember hearing the story. Basically,
Yeah.
was running his mouth.
Yeah, and certainly Jeter didn't appreciate that, and Jeter's like, you cross me, like we be friends, but you cross me, I cut you. So Jeter wasn't. So Jeter wasn't.
No nonsense, man.
Yeah.
But here's the last thing I'm gonna say about baseball in regards to the difference. Now, reason why I would recommend baseball, because think about it. Those guys that play on these AA and AAA, they're making $200,000-$300,000, 19 years old now.
Yeah.
And I wish more young brothers would play, but I don't think black people think that that's interesting. But they have no salary cap. Players getting paid. Everybody's getting paid pretty good. So, and you can play 16 years.
But do you think that the entry, like, because I've had friends who've had their kids play baseball from t-ball all the way up through high school, and did
they go to college though? See, that's what I'm saying. You got to. They didn't go
certainly not on a baseball scholarship.
Well, I'm just saying though, if you go and play baseball, man, I'm telling you, the advantages that baseball bring is way beyond football and basketball.
If you can get there. I'm just saying the grind to the investment that you have to have in baseball for a lot of parents. It's not the same as it was back in the day. At least that's what I'm being told.
But we're not interested in baseball for the most part. Not a lot of brothers play baseball.
Because it takes, like, the ones who make any decent money in the minors, because they was able to sign a contract.
It's a major league deal, right?
But a lot of them in the league, they don't. And the minor league baseball is a grind. I mean, it's a huge grind. And then plus, you got Class A, AA. You have to be damn good just to get into AAA. A lot of boys top out at AA. So you got to be damn good to get to AAA. And then you talk about the big leagues where you got the money. So I think in the inner cities, it's a lot. The end game to money is faster to get to if you have the talent, of course, in both basketball and football. But baseball, it's a legit grind. So you don't know how long you will be in the minors, and if you end up being skilled enough even to get to AAA and the majors to even get those big contracts. So baseball, you got to tell your family, hey, I'm a baseball. Huh?
Football's worse though. You got to get
football. It's only high school, college, and then if you are in the pros, you're not pro level, you're not even going. But if you're in the pros, it's the pros. It's only one pro level for the most part if you make it to the NFL.
But
then it's the practice league and stuff. But at least you get there.
I know you football all the way, man. I know you football all the way.
But I'm familiar with like the farm system in baseball. Like
I think they cut one of those levels out. I think they cut the 2A out. I know they did a few years ago.
Well, my thing is this. It seems like there's different rules, or there's a different path for the American player. Because again, if you talk about these players from Dominican Republic or whatever, I mean, these guys are playing in substandard conditions. Yeah. But guys go down and find those guys, and they find themselves in these, So I mean, there's no farm system down there from what I'm seeing.
Yeah, baseball,
Venezuela, whatnot. So, but that's been a major recruiting ground for MLB for the last 20, 30 years, and do they have the same path to get to the major leagues as if you're?
They have a greater path. You see how diverse it is in baseball. what I'm saying is, even without the form system, this is where the kids are playing the baseball on their own. They starting out on their own, and when the major league see that they have the skill set, then they offer a little. They show them how to work out because these kids are pumping. Some of them probably playing barefoot, but it's the kid itself that pushes that. There's no adults out there programming these kids to sort of, what position to play. A lot of these kids watch it. They go out here and they just make their mistakes with each other and they encourage. I'm telling you, it's an easy process for baseball. But that's why a lot of players have the opportunity over it, because as they continue to grow, they start getting better and timing that ball. Some of them can pitch, hit, run. They have all the skills, right?
Right.
Most young kids in America, what are they doing besides playing basketball, football, and walking the streets? Ain't nobody running, jumping, Olympic style. So I'm just saying, as far as that baseball, you learn that skill. If you can hit that ball, you can make, coming out of high school, $150,000 going up the plate 4 days a four times. And even if you do, let's just say you just take advantage of that, because a lot of these guys go to college. In America, you have to go through the system, and that's going through college. That's different.
Right.
So you got to go through college, but you can get a scholarship. I'm telling you, baseball is the easiest way for especially young man to become businessman. I'm telling you.
Question. The NIL, I know it's supposed to apply across all college sports, but I'm not quite sure how it works with the baseball, with the college baseball players and whatnot. Is it similar? Because I haven't heard any players getting that kind of money, or that NIL is a consideration, whether or not they stay in college or go pro or go like to the minors or the whatever it is. So I don't know if the rule applies the same in that, but I don't know if baseball, you can exploit the NIL in a similar fashion you do with football. It just seems like most of the NIL, football, then maybe basketball, but then outside of that, I don't know if it applies. It doesn't.
You don't really hear college players really get that type of attention. I'm pretty sure they get NIL, but like you say, they got a whole other dynamic because they can literally be drafted out of high school. That's something I probably got to look up, because it is a different dynamic.
And baseball, I don't think has an age limit, because football, you got to be a certain age or whatever. If you're under 18 in basketball, that's what they got the D League for and whatnot. So, but baseball, you could be 17 and raw, and I think someone could still sign you. You don't need to go to college to play baseball per se. So I just. So look, maybe it could be the way it's marketed to, certainly, people of color, and whatnot. But again, my thing has always been from the friends I know who had their kids in it, it's more expensive access to entry. And the way these guys want you going now is, it used to be you had seasons, like you were a multi-sport. So again, you play basketball, you play football, whatever, run track, and then you come in and play baseball during the season. But now with the travel team schedule, I had a friend, Jerry, they were up in PA or Virginia. I got a friend of mine now, one of my clients, and he's always down in Baltimore with his kid, because they got some sort of Cal Ripken tournament or something they're always playing over the weekend. That takes up his whole weekend. So the commitment level is something that, unless you're in a certain position, it's hard for a lot of people, unless you have access to.
What's the basketball one called? What's the
that technique is failing the communities. People can't.
I just really think because
talk about it, Coach.
It's failing the communities, because if you go in any neighborhood where, let's say 60% of the residents are African American, right, or black, however, whichever word they want to use today. Let's just say at least 40% of them, 35 to 40%, gonna be children, ages 13. Excuse me. Get a little water. Ages 13 to I'll go to 8, 7, 8. Nobody's getting them out there just moving and getting those motor skills, in any capacity. But playing baseball, it's a little different. Baseball is almost like chess in a sense, but it's a sport, because you got to catch the ball, hit the ball, you got to throw the ball, you got to get to the base, you got to run, but you ain't really getting hit. You just going for 2 minutes and relaxing. And it's an easy fix, but in the community, you don't see no You don't see they don't play baseball. No adults, and the travel teams that'll bankrupt you if you got. It's just not worth it. There's not enough community to have community teams, but the kids are
I agree
there.
with that. Yeah, I
It's
agree with
just
that.
unfortunate.
And I think one thing that those folks in those Caribbean and Latin countries or whatnot, there's not as much distraction, right? Either into baseball or you're into soccer or what they call football or something like that. But that is your only things. I think the lack of variety is why you're going to start younger with it and you're probably going to stay with it because what else you going to play? I mean, I don't think they're as big in the basketball down there. So what else is going to be and what else is going to be your distraction? So I think that's why kids get into it younger and they start to focus and concentrate on it. And I think again that's been a fertile ground. But I know MLB has been down there for many years getting these players and how many Cuban players have defected and come to the U.S. over the years playing for peanuts down there, but they're legit players though. So.
They're Latin Caribbean area. Baseball is their top sport. I know
Exactly,
soccer over there in Europe, but baseball down there, that's their sport. That's their passion. If I don't know
for
if y'all
sure.
had a chance to ever watch the World Baseball Classic.
Yeah, I was
You see,
literally just about
dude,
to. I was just about to say that.
if there's a baseball classic that you need to watch, it's that. You talking
Yeah,
about you see the passion coming from them players
yeah,
and from the U.S. players. The only thing about U.S. you may not always recognize the names.
right,
I think
right.
now they're just starting to send out like more of the higher profile names on the U.S. squad.
Hmm.
But them Latinos, they be
Yeah,
super passionate about that.
yeah.
So
From what I understand, and when did they take baseball out of the Olympics? Do you guys remember, Trey? Do you remember when they took it out?
I
But I
don't
know
know. I
that
think
was a thing for
I really think
a
it's.
while.
I think it depends on the country that because it'll say it was in
No, but I thought it was
France.
I know for a lot of years, like in the 80s and 90s, it was like a
Yeah,
regular thing in the Olympics, and then sometime in the 2000s, they took it out of Olympic
yeah.
competition, but again, and I think that's one of the reasons why the WBC came about because again, their thing is they play that every 4 years as well.
Hmm.
But yeah, I love the concept of it. I mean, because again, you got all these different, you got Asia, you got the Western Caribbean, you got the Southern Latin countries, like you said. So I certainly enjoy it every time it comes on, and now certainly with just the globalization, I thought it would help to globalize the brand even more. But as long as some of the top American players play in it, so I hope that's something they can continue to keep coming on with, and certainly I would like to see it introduced as an Olympic sport again. But that's going to depend because I think for 2028, I don't think there's any intention of bringing baseball back. I don't know what they're going. They always introduce some Olympic
I think
sport based
I
on
think
the
just
country
leave it
that it's in.
off. Just leave it
Just
off
you think
because the
so?
World Baseball Classic is so big and you look forward to. I think if you put it in Olympics, you kind of
2012.
start
Thanks.
kind
Yeah.
of watering down that WBC. So I think just leave it alone because that's starting to get picked up. And I think now if it comes to the Olympics, you'd be looking at that like kind of a fake WBC
Right.
because the passion and the other one's it's just so noticeable. I
Absolutely.
think
Yeah.
when you got something like that, just leave it alone. It's kind of
Right.
like
And
FIFA.
it's the only thing that's weird about it too is that it doesn't like Trey. You say baseball is America's game, but the way it seems like, especially when it came either to the Olympics or to the WBC, I don't think the country treated it that way. Like when Team USA lost in basketball back in, I think they lost in '88, and then they lost in 2004, and then they had the Dream Team come about. It was almost something like basketball is our game. Well, baseball I thought was America's game, but whether or not the U.S. won or lost or whatever, it's like you didn't have that thing where it's like, okay, look, we got to come back and put this monster team together
But
and take this
baseball never
thing.
allowed, because it's almost like you're a professional at 18, 19, and they really don't never really allow professionals, in baseball because, like I said, even if you're a teenager in some of these countries, like these little tournaments, they have young adults playing. But again, baseball is America's sport because it's the highest paid sport. No salary cap. You don't have nobody. Even the player that's the lowest on the roster, he getting $20 million for 3 years. He might get in. They play 160 games. He might do that and get in 85 games. It's an opportunity, but in America, it's just not, especially in the inner city, it's not promoted, and adults, they won't get out there and work with the youth. So
I think it's just a hard game to play. I mean, you celebrate
hand-eye coordination, Sony. That's all hand-eye feet.
I mean, they celebrate. They celebrate you if you can hit 3 out of 10 balls.
Yeah, hell yeah, shit. Why not?
Because when you're a hitter, you got to learn how to recognize pitches.
You got to learn how to see the ball.
It's a hard sport. So,
but they say that's the difference between a AA player and a AAA or Major League Player. You got
because a lot of dudes they would get drafted, but then they'll find themselves stuck.
Yeah,
and
can't get out.
And then you be worrying about what happened to this so far.
Shawnee, right now, coming out at 18, 19, you wouldn't mind being stuck at $200,000 for about 10 years?
Yes. Dude, I'm telling you.
I don't think all those guys are making $200,000.
No, because
I think it's the top.
Because
it's the top prospects.
You are literally you're gonna be living. You're gonna be traveling the road on these buses. You're gonna be going stop to stop. It's nothing. It's nothing like Major League. So you're just gonna be on the bus traveling, and eventually that money gonna stop. So now you gotta come up to the realization is, am I ever going to be promoted up, or am I going to sit here and just basically play, and hopefully one day I get promoted up? So it's a grind, man. It's a grind, and I think that's the key thing, because as far as the inner cities, because it's a hard sport to play.
And you need the space to play it. You need the fields. You need the a lot of.
You can't play in everybody's field, because as soon as that ball breaks somebody's window, then everybody.
What I'm saying is there were fields like it in the parks. Now they're not occupied, so they probably tore them down and did something else with the property. But and I'm just saying, today in this modern time, I would rather, if you're not going to go to college, military, why not play a sport for 6 months a year, get paid for it in the off season, or you can go work at McDonald's, Taco Bell, something.
I hear you.
Amazon, and throw your back out. No, man, go play a sport, and you can work Amazon part-time and still go to school. You can do all three.
Right.
I'm just saying.
All right. Hey, we got a guest in the room. Hi, how are you? How are you?
You have to wave back because you are in the game.
You gave a shot. All right, so we got a week 6. We got a packed NFL week 6. So I'm gonna do this like I did last week. So I'm gonna throw the topics out there. Okay, the key takeaways from week 6, and then we just gonna go around the room. Whoever wants to take on the topics first, you can do that. But the way I have it on the agenda here is, so you got the big trade. You got Davante Adams being reunited with Aaron Rodgers in New York for a game this week against the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are now starting to come into a somewhat of a quarterback controversy, because from what I understand, Russell Wilson's healthy and he's been taking first team reps with the team. So it's likely he could be a starter on Sunday, and they play Sunday night. So this is going to be in prime time. And so you have the Russell Wilson and Justin Fields debate. Justin Fields went 4-2, could have been very easily 6-0, but it is what it is with that record. I'm still smart in that Dallas game, but you got those two stories in terms of the quarterback controversy in Pittsburgh. You got the Davante Adams trade. You got Amari Cooper traded to the Bills. But the story of stories, and this is why I'm gonna tee this up. All right, so this is the tee shot off the green. I'm going to serve it up to Sean, and hopefully Dante can be here to, certainly give some context to it. So once again, the Dallas Cowboys get thrashed at home against the Lions. As a side note, very sad to hear about Aiden Richardson's. That was a horrible fracture. I don't know if you guys actually saw it on footage. It was bad. I remember, Coach, you remember that when Joe Theismann got his leg broke against the Giants. That one I didn't see that coming, and it just It just shattered, man. I mean, I never seen anything like that. Not certainly in the context of getting hit by another player, but so very sad to hear about him, and hopefully not only this goes almost beyond his career, but hopefully he could just have some normal function, just to walk around and not be having issues in his 40s and whatnot with that. That's a massive multiple compound fractures in that situation. So certainly hope he gets better from that. But the Dallas Cowboys get routed by the Detroit Lions. Not surprising that they lost, but it is a surprise one that by the margin they got beat, by the fact that it's home. They haven't won a home game since last year's playoff game, and they haven't won a home game this year.
They won 16 in a row, and then next thing you know, they lost 4 in a row.
Yeah, and getting beat badly at home. I mean, these games aren't even competitive at home. They're getting thrashed. So that's a story in and of itself. But then, again, Jerry Jones always tries to own the news cycle. So he goes on his regular radio broadcast. I was at 103.5 down there. What they call it, the fan. In that,
the fan.
Yeah. So he's on with the radio guys. Been talking with those guys for years, and they ask him the tough questions, and he starts, throwing some of his billionaire weight around, talking about, look, I may have to do this with somebody else, or getting you off the air, and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, Jerry, I mean, they gotta eat too. But are they supposed to be the mouthpiece of the Dallas Cowboys? From what I understand, those guys on the fan, they're not employed by the Dallas Cowboys, but nevertheless, Jerry's like, that's his personal megaphone and mouthpiece to, where he goes and gets all the adulation from the host there. But as soon as the host, asks him the questions that everybody's asking, right? Why didn't you sign my man with Baltimore? I mean, at running back, I think that's gonna haunt him all year. And so, to sort of ask him the tough questions, and, are you going to make some changes in coaching? And he just goes off, and he's telling folks on air, told them on air, telling other reporters off air. And I heard those guys today, they kind of addressed it again, and they're like, look, I'm not worried. I'm still going to do my job. I'll ask the tough questions. If the radio station fires me, they fire me or whatever. Jerry can throw all the weight around, but they're not budging off of their positions. But I've never seen, and look, I live in New York, so George Steinbrenner with the Yankees, who, certainly Jerry Jones, from what I understand, he was almost like a mentor to Jerry Jones when he bought the Cowboys. I've never seen George Steinbrenner go off on the press like that, or certainly attacking the media in such a bullying fashion. So that's been the story that's been coming out of Dallas all this time. So Shawnee, you're down there, you're seeing what is going on with the Cowboys, especially this abysmal home record that they have, these embarrassing losses, Jerry's response afterwards and whatnot, and just what's been the vibe with that. So take it away, and I'll just give you the floor.
Well, that 105.3 it's the official station of the Cowboys, but Jerry don't own it.
Right.
But he damn near has a stroke because of their relationship with the team. So the station, because of that relationship with the Cowboys, fans always believe that the hosts on there have a tendency to ask like softball questions towards the Cowboys brass because of the relationship between that station and the team. But the actual personalities at the station, they don't like that people think of them in that fashion. And so they do be trying to ask questions, and that's what they was trying to ask Jerry, basically about how the team is currently structured, and basically, how did y'all fail, constructing this team, and Jerry didn't like that, and then that's when he went off on it, and then because of that, yesterday they had some, they opened the callback lines. The call line and pretty much the DFW fan base, Cowboy fan base, was letting Jerry have it like that. They were looking at that as the last straw, But I mean, all they could do is really get pissed. Nothing going to happen. He's not going to sell the team. I'll be telling people, Jerry's just a face, But he, of course, he has the final say, but he doesn't. He's not really the mastermind, in particular the cap. That's his son. So if something happened to Jerry, Stephen Jones is basically going to run that team the same way. You're just not going to hear him as much. Stephen don't talk as much as his dad. But as far as the daily salary stuff, it's going to be ran the same way. But yeah, Cowboy fans are pissed off. Me, myself, yeah, the Cowboys, they've been losing bad, but I'm not surprised on how they losing because this is exactly why we was pissed off with them in the offseason. We saw players leaving the team, going elsewhere, but you're not backfilling a spot, especially backfilling it with other impactful players. You just basically filling it in with somebody and just automatically assuming they're going to be able to pick up the slack. And then now you have injuries to your two of your best defensive players, and so you don't have the depth. So and then I know we was talking about the running back situation, and they could have had a chance to get Derrick Henry. And we was like, okay, you're not addressing that. So the exact reason why Dak is struggling now, which he has always had in the past. That's why I don't understand about the Cowboys. This is not the first time this happened to Dak. You look at when Dak struggles, it's because when they try to do this running back committee or something like that in the backfield. Dak is not a quarterback. You can basically say, here's the ball, take us to the win. But I think he's a good enough quarterback if you give him a running game, and he has shown that his production greatly increases. But the Cowboys, because they don't want to spend the money, they keep they don't value.
Well, it's two questions though here, and again, Dante, again, welcome aboard. Good to have you on, brother. And so again, I've been kind of teeing this up for you guys, but again, so it's two questions here. One, is Dak a $60 million quarterback?
Well,
and then secondly, about these issues with the running back not getting Derrick Henry. So it's like on multiple fronts, the Cowboys have failed in terms of overpaying, potentially overplaying players, and not going after the players that they needed in order to help to improve this team. So it's like it's becoming compounded as a result on both sides here. So is Dak worth that $60 million? I mean, was this
even before Dak got paid, if you go back to the numbers, the QBs that got paid, I don't think any quarterback has really lived up to that contract signing except Patrick Mahomes. Mm-hmm. Maybe the closest one is Josh Allen. I mean, because they got eliminated from the playoffs where he performed. His teammates didn't do it.
You said Lamar.
Lamar. But Lamar is just basically so far because Lamar's franchise be giving him weapons. If there's a weak spot for Lamar, his franchise will address it.
Salute to the general manager.
But Lamar is basically an upgraded level of Dak. He has better regular season success, but he struggles the same way as Dak in the postseason. He's just another level of it. But then, but his team though, at least you can't look at Lamar's struggle and say that's the Baltimore Ravens. They not give you the weapons because they give him receivers. They was already the number one rushing team last year, still went out and get Derrick Henry. Now he failed to them. Because I think Cowboys would have been option number one for Henry. But, hey, they didn't do it. And as soon as he slipped through the Cowboys' fingers, the Ravens took him.
So, Shawnee, that's probably what it is. Do you blame Jerry Jones of the demands of the Cowboys?
That's what DFW. That's why when I was talking about them calling radio station,
do you agree?
Oh, yeah. I blame the whole front office. Like I say, I was telling somebody on the internet, I do not look at the struggles. I don't care about Dak and his $60 million. I really don't care about Dak and his struggles right now because I knew that was going to happen. Dak struggles like this when he does not have a running game. You hear countless people say Dak is not his best when you're asking him to throw 40, 50 times a game. And you have a history of that. That's why people say that. But the Cowboys keep doing this because they don't want to invest in their running game. So, okay, you're going to have this man throw interceptions. You set him up for failure. Like I was just saying about Lamar Jackson, as soon as they saw some type of weakness or an area of improvement that can benefit Lamar, Baltimore went to go address it. Cowboys do not do that. The only thing they'll do that with is a receiver, but they already have one. That's when at first they went to go do that with Amari Cooper. But for whatever reason, they just don't do that with the run game and some other positions. So I don't look at Dak no more. Dak is doing what he always did. He struggles like this because he try to do too much when he does not have a running game. If you just give this dude a running game, you can balance it out. Look at how Dak performs with a running game. Look how Dak performs without a running game. Why the Cowboy brass refuse to give him a legit running game? I don't know. That's exactly why the fans up here are so pissed off. They caused this. We saw this coming in the offseason.
All right, let's get your. Hang on, let's tag your guy in here. Trey, save your smoke. I gotta get these guys the floor. I mean, and shout out to Dante. Rain or shine, it doesn't matter. My man rocking his D cap, no matter what. Forget all you haters out there. Salute to my man who will stand in the line of fire and take the incoming. I salute you, my brother, for coming in. But again, the only thing I got a problem with, again, is your little hashtag here. Regular season ready. But this team, will they even make the playoffs? They are no wins at home, no home wins, and they're getting thrashed. So what do you got to say on this? And then also speak to the draconian Darth Maul moves that Jerry's made, trying to end the careers of these radio hosts. So all they try to do is get in there and get a job, making $75,000 a year. He's a billionaire, and he's threatening their livelihood. So I mean, shine some light on this, man. Take it away here.
You know what? I left that up there because it's like, look, man, I'm almost regular season ready. I'm talking about basketball. The Cowboys have not.
Go Mavs.
The Cowboys have not made me check out like this in a long time. Like this giving me those feels on those 3 straight 5-11 teams, and that was when like my youth and that's literally when people. If you meet somebody from the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex that is a fan of an outside market team, specifically like the Eagles or something, they lost their fanhood during those 5-11 years after the Super Bowls and stuff. That's when they'll never tell you that. But that's another topic. I caught the baseball topic. I had to come in and make sure I got in for the football. But I'll say this. I was so down on the Cowboys about that game. I started playing with my kids, finished up grilling, because it was like, this game is an embarrassment. This is an absolute embarrassment. You don't deserve my eyeballs for this game. And so, I mean, and the Detroit Lions literally remember what happened last year, and they had an extra grind against you, and they thoroughly embarrassed you. And it just happened to be on Jerry's birthday. So they get kudos and props to them. Like, man, I see the shots. I can't really even take any right now because my team is down so bad. I can't even take it. But I got to get one, and I'll get to that later. But the fact that I finally tuned in, I was like, hey, I'm going to tune in. I'm a big listener to 105.3 The Fan. And I'm listening. I normally don't like the Jerry interviews because it's all the BS these speaks.
Right.
I'm listening, and I'm like, wait. And I'm watching on Twitter as Clarence Hill Jr. is like, hey, man, he just threatened their job. And so I'm listening on YouTube. So I'm on the delay. So I was like, let me rewind it back. I rewind it back. I was like, no, he really did. He literally did that. And it was absolutely crazy to be like, you're doing that. And it's like Shawnee said, they do fight against that a lot. They're like, oh, everybody is, drinking the blue Kool-Aid. That's not like that. That's why I listen to the station. But the fact that they're doing a good job of bringing up a point from the offseason. We're in the bye week. We're at a point in which, hey, man, you've lost 2 major defensive linemen, 3. So you lost Marshawn Nealon, who you brought in as a second-round pick. You lost DeMarcus Lawrence. You lost your best defender and Michael Parsons. And you're still without Bland, who was held out of this game because they didn't feel like he was ready. So you're dealing without 4 premium guys. Yeah, man, you might want to call up for Hassan Reddick. Now, my thing is, I don't want you to be foolish and go get Devontae Adams. And Amari Cooper, their relationship has severed. People with the Cowboys is like, hey, that wasn't going to happen. There's moves that you can make since you didn't do anything in the offseason. But Jerry is stuck on the point of, hey, we paid the quarterback, we paid the receiver. We're going to pay Micah. We're holding this money to pay Micah. And it's just like, hey, man, you have a team right now. And you know how the salary cap is. If you do those deals, the way the salary cap wraps and the way you play with it, you could have had money to look. I think Derrick Henry, I figured that was a pipe dream. At least take that $7 million he was going to get and go get some defense. Go put some money on some defense. I've heard Coach Spurs say it all the time about, hey, who have you drafted? What are you investing in that defense? Yes, this is an offensive league, offensive organization historically. Go ahead and put some money into the defense in some kind of way, but you get a guy off the sheet. You get Eric Kendricks. You bring him in. He had a good week against Cleveland. He doesn't lose anything. Has a few other games. He looks okay. Now he's hurt. Surprise. He's in his early to mid 30s as a linebacker. He's going to miss games. So they have every right to tie in the struggles currently to what you've done in the offseason. And I heard the outside perspective I heard Bomani Jones say that Jerry is out front and center. Other owners are not. He takes the criticism, and to be honest, he got fed up with it this one because they have said this a couple of weeks in a row about the offseason where they mentioned it. And this week, you got embarrassed. They put belt to ass again on Sunday, and he couldn't take it, and he went over the line. And then he doubled down on it while talking to some, I think Diana Rossini. He doubled down on it, and it's like that's out of pocket. And it's one of those deals to where Steven needs to seriously make a legitimate claim. I understand it's going to be the same leadership, Shiny, but my thing is him being younger, maybe someone can get in his ear. Maybe Will McClay can have more influence. They need to step to him and be like, look, you got the position, but you need to step down. Like, you need to move aside because you are making yourself, you love the headlines, but you're making yourself more of a national spotlight. We should be talking about the teams that are undefeated this week. We should be talking about a lot of the things. The Cowboys should just hang with the stain of the 47-9 all off week, all bye week, and then have to go into a game against the 49ers where you're probably going to get your butt whooped again. So it's like they need to focus on that. We're focusing on you and the circus show. And it's like the fans are fed up with it. I know I'm fed up with it. And it's to the point, to answer your question, Mr. Bennett, when you look at Dak Prescott and you line the quarterbacks up that are top echelon quarterbacks, he is below the tier of the top echelon that you would normally say, hey, pay them that money. But once again, back to the front office, they set themselves up like dummies to where they had no leverage over Dak. They had the court. They didn't have him in a team-friendly deal. They had him in a deal that was so porous for the team. If he did not sign a contract and left as a free agent, the Cowboys were going to be left with a cap charge of $40 million. So that's $40 million you can't spend on premium talent. And then basically to get a quarterback, you would have had to be sorry in the year 2025 to get a quarterback. He said the kicker is, hey man, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. You're making a lot of comments there, Black man, about the team. Hey man, there's a team in New Orleans that's lost like 4 straight. And they're about to be in the quarterback. They're about to get Shador. They probably about to be happy. They're in the Shador's break if you can outbeat Carolina and Cleveland. So losing enough games to get that, but
I'm trying to get Shador to the Vegas team for understand. So he's trying to get.
We talking about the Cowboys and their needs. I don't want them making the playoffs. Finish bad so you get a high pick. I know. Hell, they did it one time drafting Zeke Elliott. So you saw immediate, benefits from that. If the Cowboys, because you ain't gonna get a quarterback, you already got Dak. If you get a high pick, damn it, draft Ashton Jeanty, the running back at Boise State. Draft that young man.
You were talking about him last week too. Yeah.
Oh man, draft him. Now they don't like drafting running backs that high. But
running backs, even the good ones, you're talking third or fourth round. You would consider a first rounder?
I wouldn't.
Because it's a desperate need of the Cowboys. You ain't gonna sign nobody. You ain't gonna sign nobody free agent. You don't have nobody currently on the roster, and you need somebody because you invested so much money on your quarterback. You need somebody who if we have a legit running back, he could potentially, like I say, quarterback's not going to live up to the $60 million unless they, because people are always going to hold that against them. But you can see the immediate benefit it will have on your $60 million quarterback. I know it's not, people don't like doing it because it's a running back, but for your team, if you get, you did it before. That's when you drafted Zeke. You drafted Zeke for Romo. Romo got hurt and then Dak came in. Well, hell, do the same thing for Dak. Draft Jeanty for Dak and see immediate benefits, and now your offense can go on. You
Just
don't have
FYI,
to
no
run back.
running back was chosen in the first round of last year's drive. I'm trying to remember last time.
Man.
I think the Steelers, when they drafted Najee in the first round, that might have been the last time you had a running back
Jets
chosen in
gonna
the
be
first
drafted
round.
by somebody.
But I want to turn it over to Coach. I know you got a lot to say. I just had one final question for Dante. Was like now just to clarify, those guys on the fan, they are not Jerry fanboys.
No,
They play it pretty even down there.
they play it pretty even. In fact, the third coach, he's the Cowboys insider. His name is Bobby Belt. He almost gets in the hot water because they do an interview every week with Mike McCarthy, and he is hypercritical of Mike McCarthy. And almost to the point where the host is like, "Hey man, we do have him on every Friday. Kind of have to let them know to back off." My thing is they turn up the heat, and it's gonna be. He predicted the Cowboys to go 9-8 and miss the playoffs. So. And he's looking dead on accurate. So.
Right. All right, Coach. Bring some sensibilities here. What is going on with Dallas, and just how did you take the interaction with him and the radio host and whatnot? So just take it away here.
I mean, it's just going to show the implosion of Dallas from an internal point of view. Jerry Jones has gotten too old. You know, he don't have that instinct that he had before, and he's made bad decisions for the last 4 or 5 years, you know, as far as choosing players. They've let critical pieces go. They let Pollard go for nothing. They could have re-signed him with the money that they had. They got rid of Cooper. They could have had another top receiver. Ezekiel, he could have been coming back and been a nice little backup, you know, just a little bulldozer. And they didn't have any chemistry. They let key linemen go this year. They didn't really have any chemistry coming into the season, so I can see this fall apart. And Mike McCarthy, he can't call plays for real. He's terrible. Their offensive coordinators have been some of the worst. Dak's putting up big numbers because they throwing it 40 times a game. But as far as all-around play calling, they throw on first down. That makes no sense. You can give it to a running back and get 2 yards instead of, you know, it just – but I think Jerry Jones, his Jerry world with that big old stadium, it's just caving in on. He's too old. He just need to hire a general manager. I think the Sun will hire a general manager because they have to. If Dallas wants to maintain that number one star, they're gonna have to get someone that understands the football game.
Well,
That's why.
What's the role of a general manager?
He's gonna evaluate players and look at talents and choose, you know, rank them, and as far as they little charts that they use, and he gonna negotiate their value, and he gonna do all that. Jerry Jones,
that's what I'm saying.
Jerry Jones too old for it. He's too old. He's just too old.
He don't do that. Jerry don't do that anymore.
That's what I'm saying. That's why Jerry Jones is too old for the game.
What about the guy who you guys, the black guy who's
that's what I'm saying. That's what I was asking.
Why not just make him the GM? He's been there forever. I mean,
he doesn't do the salary thing. That's what I'm saying.
But again, but you don't have. But you can hire someone to take care of the money side of things, right? I mean, make him the face of the. Okay.
That's what I'm trying to get. That's what I'm trying to get people to see. It's a hydra. It's a hydra. That's what I'm trying to get. Jerry is the face. That's what everybody looks at. Jerry. He gets all the attention. He gets all the criticism. But the behind the scenes work, Stephen Jones is the contract guy. All the salary negotiations and the tight wallet and why they don't do nothing in free agency. That's Stephen Jones. Will McClay is the draft.
Okay, so do this for me then. All right, so then rank them. So you got Jerry, the son, and you got McClay. Percentage wise, responsibility for the state of the Cowboys today. How you gonna break it down? What percentage?
50-50.
There's 3 guys here. There's 3 guys. Jerry, his son, and McCullough.
It's basically like that. Jerry, Stephen, and McClay.
McClay, yeah, McClay.
I mean, Jerry is still the owner and he's still the GM, so his title. Like Jerry has the final say, but all the work, basically whatever Stephen Jones basically says with the money, Jerry gonna do, and then whatever Will McClay says with the draft, Jerry gonna do. So it's a thing. Y'all remember? Okay, Johnny Manziel, when Johnny Manziel was about to be drafted,
fellas,
Jerry wanted Manziel.
Oh, that's the famous. He pushed him up against the wall. Is that the famous?
Well, they said Jerry hit Steven on because Steven got one of Zach Martin, so Jerry sat by and hit Steven on the leg They say Steve was down there about to start crying. But that's
Sonny, oh my God.
yeah. What's up?
Sonny, man, listen, that's what I'm saying. Jerry Jones has gotten too old. He is everything of the team. It showed today when he panicked on the radio. And Steven doesn't call any shots. He ain't got no say so. He's just gonna be the man after Jerry.
Coach Berg, I know that you're 100% wrong in that take, just from being here locally and everything I'm hearing.
Fellas, did y'all remember when Emmitt Smith and all of those guys had the same problems back then?
That was then. It's not the same.
That was the same mindset. That was a total different situation.
The same mindset. It's the same mindset. You can telling Steven, look,
Jerry, everything changed when he helped hired a dominant figure like Parcells. And when you see when Parcells got here, things changed with the talent wise because he brought in a 3-4 scheme and he started to pick guys. Like in fact, they wanted Sean Marion. It was between Sean Marion and DeMarcus Ware, and Steven and then Bill Parcells got the call. Was like, no.
When's the last time Dallas won a Super Bowl? When has the last time Dallas won a Super Bowl?
Coach Berg, let me explain.
What year did you say?
96.
Dante, how was you in 1996?
I was in the third grade.
Okay, then all right, then it's over.
No, I hear you. I understand what you're saying, but I'm a lot older than I was in the third grade, and what I followed and the information I find, it shows you can tell in the fingerprints of a Jerry Jones move. I'm talking about Parcells, DeMarcus Ware, all those draft picks, Marcus Spears, all Bill Parcells moves. What was the Jerry move? Terrell Owens. And matter of fact, you can tell Bill Parcells never called him by his name. He said the player. You can clearly tell a Jerry Jones move in this era. Things have changed. You can tell the Jerry Jones move. Jason Garrett, I'm going to hire the offensive coordinator, who basically is the head coach in waiting, and then I'm going to hire Wade Phillips, the head coach. That's a Jerry move. That makes absolutely no sense. Bringing Zeke back, that is a Jerry Jones move. Doesn't make any sense. He doesn't have the ability anymore. Trey Ferg, I heard you be wrong as hell.
But don't you prove my point, though? Don't you prove my point? Shawnee said it's Steven. I'm saying it's all Jerry.
No, it's Steven with the money. You can tell the move because Steven, you can listen to Steven's interviews. He does them, I think, a few times a week or maybe once a week. I can't remember. Less than Jerry, but he'll do it and he'll talk about the contracts. He'll always talk about the size of the pot and what's left. He'll always say that. Jerry
money talks.
But it's straight. He is the money guy because he was trained by the previous regime of the front office people. He's so old school. He's the guy that the reason why they don't get free agents. He wants the free agent to call them because he's the art of the deal.
But he's trained by his father, though.
He's trained by his father and the other people. But on the salary cap, Jerry Jones is not a salary cap expert. That is a difficult, tricky situation. He has learned that salary cap information. I won't even find the name of the person that he learned from. I'm just telling you, Trey, you are completely wrong. We're both right in the fact that Jerry sucks and he needs to leave. But the fact that you're living on 1990s, you're living on 96 logic if you think he's serving the hot dogs, he's doing the marketing.
No, he's telling what. Hold up. But see, this is what I'm saying. He's telling who to pay and what players that they want and let go. That's Jerry's moves. He's the general manager. He's making those moves. Everybody else is just listening. Steven over like, I got the money, Daddy. Okay, make sure we hold out. Make sure we hold out our best players for 6 weeks.
Because this information, it's not coming from me and Dante. We heard this from the beat writers. Dudes who are actually in the locker room. They interview these dudes. They tell you exactly the structure of it.
Tune in next week, ladies and gentlemen, for yet another edition of As the World Turns in Dallas. Okay, so
it's gonna be something.
Let's get to the range. We got under 20 in the show. I just want to get to just another topic in NFL. Again, we still got undefeated teams, so we still got Minnesota and Kansas City, who I think is going into their bye. So again, those guys are still on the floor. But I really want to get into this, the whole idea in Pittsburgh again. So we got the trade for Devontae Adams going to the Jets. I'm not even looking at the Jets yet because again they got a new coach, fired their coach midseason and whatnot. So they got a lot to work on. And with the Bills of getting Amari Cooper, so that's I thought the Jets would be legit competitors. And they may in the second half of the season they may be able to turn it around. But they got a lot of work to do there. But I want to focus in again on the Steelers. So again, Justin Fields, who was, considered, a failure in Chicago, goes to Pittsburgh. He's 4-2 with the team. Could have been 6-0, but again, the reason why they're 4-2, I think in part is Justin Fields. Gets off the slow starts. He doesn't do the routine plays routinely. He's great with his legs. I mean, clearly the touchdowns that he scores is with his legs, not with his arm. And especially in his last game, a lot of open guys that he's missing and whatnot. Russell Wilson, apparently he's healthy at this point. We all know about the NFL, meaning not for long. We all know that Tomlin at the beginning of the year said that Russell was QB1. He has the injury in training camp. All this time, Russell's apparently healthy, and people are asking, should we go to Justin? Should we stick with the hot hand, so to speak? Although he did lose his last 2 games prior to this one, for the first time they put up 30 points in this game against the Raiders, who's not a good team. But agree or disagree, should Russell Wilson get the start, or should they turn over the keys, or should they continue to go with Justin Fields until he has a really bad game, or are you going to continue to struggle with him until, and just eat by games or whatever? So so just in general, what's your philosophy comes to this? You got this veteran starter, young prospect, a lot of talent potential, but still kind of raw. What would you do in that situation? So if this was Dallas, all right, so if this is a Dallas situation, how would you handle that when you got a young guy who comes in? Because I think that even happened a couple years ago when Dak was hurt, and you had who was the QB came in? Cooper Rush, and everybody was on the Cooper Rush bandwagon. Yeah, we rolled with Cooper, and
it was a bigger when Dak became starter. That was when he filled in for Romo when Romo got hurt.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing. Romo was the established guy. Now again, I know Russell is not technically the guy. He's just getting there, just like Fields is. But again, established guy, and for some reason he never got that job back. Now you talk about a Jerry move. I think it would have been Jerry's move to put his guy back in as the starter. So I don't know what went down there, because that's
he wanted to, but Dak was too high. He was winning 11.
Yeah. But again, if Jerry wanted that to happen, I think it would have happened. So again, I guess people can argue over was that the right move or not, given Dak's record in the playoffs. But so, what do you guys think about that? Who would you choose if you're in Steelers situation? You staying with Fields? You go rolling out Russ? Me personally, I want Russ. At least I need to see what he can do, because I'm not seeing from the passing game perspective. I'm not seeing enough from Justin Fields to say that he needs to to hang on that position. That's my personal move. But what say you guys?
I don't know. I think you go with. I think it's okay to go with Wilson, because it's a situation that he hasn't played so well, so great. His play, the record has been okay, but he hasn't played so great that you can keep him out. Like basically that game in Pittsburgh, when the Cowboys got in position, it was just like they can win this game because he can't really drive them down the field and consistently score touchdowns. He's not gonna be able to do that, and he wasn't much the big running threat. So it's just like I felt like you go to Russell Wilson, but you pull in a separate meeting. You have Justin Fields, and you say, "Hey, look, stay ready." You tell him stay ready, and Tomlin is a motivator of men, and I feel like if he can keep him engaged, keep him active, keep him in the game plan, because you give Russell Wilson a couple of games because he was brought in to be the starter. If it's not looking right, and it's because I don't know if the other thing is the ego of Russell Wilson. He was brought in to be the starter. Fields has already failed. Russell has failed, but he's always been the man. If he fails at this position, he probably will never be a starter again, and he likely will retire because he's got the bag. And it's not working for him. This is the third time it just hasn't worked out. And I feel like, hey, he's got one shot. If he's not hitting the plays in the passing game, and it's a better, much improved offense, if we're not seeing production from Pickens, you got to go back to Fields, and you figure it out from there.
I think, man, I really don't know, because the Steelers don't have the best O-line. Wilson is not as nimble as he was in his early 2010s. So that's the benefit with Fields. But with Wilson, you have somebody who can actually, may have a better chance of hitting his receivers. Fields to me, he looks no different than he was. I remember everybody was just so, Fields this, Fields that. I'm like, I'm watching this dude just not hitting his receivers. They open and he's not even throwing to them or he's missing them.
Which is
And
why his legs have to be that much of a factor.
exactly.
He's got
And
to
a
run
lot
for
of
stuff
times
because
you
he's
don't
not
want
making
your quarterback
the
to
simple
run back.
stuff.
That's the biggest thing we kept saying about Lamar Jackson. I mean, we want you to throw, or you don't really want your quarterback to always just basically be a running back number 2. And that's basically what Fields is really regulating himself as, running back number 2. At least with Wilson, there's a possibility. I think if Wilson would have just been leaving Seattle, people are like, oh, put Wilson in. But the thing about Wilson, you don't even think about Seattle no more. You think how Wilson was in Denver.
Mhm.
In reality, he wasn't that. He was better his second year than his first year. It's just Peyton.
Look, I would take 26-8 in a heartbeat. So
Yeah. So it's just, if basically if you're gonna make the move with Wilson, I don't think you really can. I mean, of course, Tomlin can go back, but it's gonna be looking kind of bad. You start with Fields. You are 4-2 with him. You tied for lead in the division, but you still make the move to go to Russ. Russ don't look good. Now you got to go back to Fields. And, so it's gonna be some talk about that. But I think if you really want more from your offense, because I think Fields will hit a ceiling. I mean, if he's gonna have success, it's gonna be his legs. That's just it is what it is. If you want your receivers to actually feel like they actually getting, contribute to the game, you might have to put Wilson in and just take a shot and see he can just. You can't expect Seattle Wilson to come, but maybe it will increase just the productivity of your offense because he's a better passer.
Mm-hmm. Coach, what do you got on it? You've been grimacing there like you got a lot to say. So what do you got here? So again, you got the do you play the young guy or go with the vet?
Right now, that's why Mike Tomlin is one of the greatest coaches in NFL history. He's taking players like this and he's not listening to us and everybody else with a microphone talk about what he should do with Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is Pittsburgh got probably the 2 best deals of the whole summer.
Oh, 100%.
Because you got 2 starting quarterbacks. One is a proven Super Bowl champion. Justin Fields needed somebody to believe in what his skill set is. Now, I do believe he needs to improve on how to put a little bit more air under the ball because a lot of his throws are just overthrown. But because Russell Wilson, he can drop that ball in there on the dime. And if Fields could learn that, that's where he should be listening and watching Russell Wilson because Russell Wilson's on the other half of his career and he's on the rise. But you don't break the confidence of your team. Najee Harris is starting to run the ball. You don't break that confidence. As a coach, you'll be I will wait till the bye week. And now you got, you get your timing together. You can come out there maybe, listen, we're going to try it this week. You better give us 2 or 3 touchdowns in the first half. But I think it's a good thing because Russell Wilson going to run that ball too. His passing skills are a little better than he's gotten better, really great over the last couple of years. But I think Russell Wilson's passing skills are a little better than Justin Fields. But right now, you don't break that winning streak. You keep it going, especially if they win with Justin starting, man, he's in there. Now, if he get hurt or something and Wilson come in and Wilson start going, being an old Super Bowl caliber, now you got the best of both worlds. But yeah, so
just to be clear, so this game this week against the Jets, you're starting Justin Fields and wait till the draft before you make a move.
Justin Fields have to. We rolling, and I would run the ball and give him his little easy passes that they do. That's it.
Gotcha. Real quick, as we wind down the show, we got some really big games coming up this week. So again, you got Texas and the Packers. Texans 5-1, Packers 4-2. Again, Love and man from who's the Houston QB of Stroud. So again, you got the young Lions going at it. You got the Lions at the Vikings. So again, is this the week that the Vikings get their first L? I mean, this is I think their first true test going against them. You got the Chiefs playing the 49ers. I still think the 49ers edge that out. We just talked about the Steelers and the Jets, but then you also have, again, the Ravens and the Buccaneers, both of those teams 4-2. Buccaneers, again, sorry BMU, they put a 50-piece on New Orleans, so they're playing very well. And again, the more I go on, again, kudos to the Tampa Bay quarterback. I mean, he is definitely rebounded all that time in Cleveland, whatnot, almost out the league. Was a backup with the Rams, and certainly he's built himself all the way back to where he's certainly a legit, a bona fide starter in NFL, and he's getting the job done. So any of those matchups, gentlemen, as we wind down the show, I guess the matchups to watch. Again, Dallas has the week off, so we won't lead the show with any Cowboys discussion unless Jerry wants to make news again by threatening the host again or whatever, or we hear announcements that those guys get replaced. But Jerry's not one to be quiet during this time anyway, so again, stay tuned for there. But out of those matchups that I just mentioned, which ones are getting your attention? What do you think of the key matchups? We'll go around the room and then we'll end with our closing thoughts.
I think, of course, I'm gonna say the Texans and the Packers, just because one of the team I root for. But as far as the big picture, by far it's the Lions and Vikings. It's the Lions and Vikings.
And who do you got? And who do you got in that game?
They playing in Minnesota, right?
Yes.
I'm gonna go with the Vikings. I think that defense is gonna give Lions some fits because Flores got that defense playing just off the chain right now. They can cause turnovers. Lions, they lost a big weapon with Hutchinson going out.
Against, very, very sad to hear about Aiden. Horrible injury again. I just hope he just heals and just has a normal function in life. But that was one of the worst injuries I've seen on it.
Now the Lions' run game can be the great equalizer, but the Vikings have a nice running game themselves. So I think it's going to be good for the NFL because, basically in the past, when you was thinking about NFC North, it was basically just the Packers. All the other teams was just treading water or below water. But now it's pretty much the best division in football as far as record-wise. And you got two of the top teams in the NFC about to go at each other. One undefeated. One is just basically looking right now like a locomotive. So I think it'll be a hell of a game because both teams are coming in hot. And those are the best football games. It's not like one of them coming off a big loss or whatnot. We both coming. We both got locomotive steam coming at each other. We about to have a midfield collision. We're going to see who come out. So that's going to be a good game. But I got the Vikings just because the home crowd, them Viking horns going to get into it. And damn, they can get loud, and I think they can maybe potentially screw up. But they used to playing each other though; they division rivals. So
Gotcha. Dante, who you got? What's your matchup game to watch?
I'm gonna go ahead and go with that. I'm gonna go with that Packers and Texans because you got two young QBs, and I know Shawnee, you mentioned that nobody's living up to their deal. Fortunately, that looked like in 1 week, and then the next week in the other games of the season, not so much. The Packers with Jordan Love is really looking legit. It's really looking like, again, the Packers have hit the quarterback lottery yet again. They got him locked. They got him signed up. They got the young receivers going. They got Christian Watson going next week. My thing is the Texans got a stingy defense, but going up to Lambeau is a tough place to play. I would say Packers are slight favorites. I think just off of the strength of them knowing that they got to keep pace with the Lions and the Lions and the Vikings, since they already got a loss to the Vikings, I think they're going to be really motivated. I think they pull that one off, but it's going to be close because C.J. Stroud, although they are down Nico Collins, they still got Tank Dell. They still got the big acquisition, all-season acquisitions. Go figure. Stephon Diggs. I think they got enough to really make it a game. I think it's going to come down probably to the last possession of that game. So I hate that one I think is at noon. I wish that was a little bit later. I can try to catch that one.
They always got Texas at noon.
Gotcha, Coach. What matchup are you keying in on?
I'm looking forward to that Ravens and Buccaneers game.
Shout out to Gen X, man. We understand these things, man. Shout out to Gen X.
The Ravens, they starting to seem like they getting their groove and they back up to the league leading in rushing. and Lamar's starting to make those throws that he was struggling with in the height of the game. So I think if they keep that balanced attack, yeah, Tampa Bay's ain't gonna be no pushover though. I think
And
it's
it's
gonna
in
go down
Tampa,
to the
and it's
wire.
in Tampa Bay. It's a road game, so
Yeah, but the thing I like about it, both teams play on grass. The weather will be a little nice, so I think it's going to be a back and forth battle because Tampa Bay has a good balanced attack too with their receivers, and I don't know who their primary running back is, but Baker Mayfield, he also is a threat to run. So it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to go down. It's going to be a high scoring game. I believe. I believe it's going to be at least
I think
28 points by each team.
Right. Yeah, I'm choosing that game also as my key matchup to watch. Although I am taking a look at that Kansas City game again. I think this is a very important game for the 49ers to pull this off. They're playing the Chiefs, so the Chiefs are going to San Francisco.
Oh, that's right.
So
that's right.
so that's going to be a key one. Again, Casey's been winning ugly, but I got a feeling they're going to get by with another squeaker, another 3-point at the end of the game. They got one of the best kickers in the game and whatnot, so it may boil down to that at the certainly at the end. But like I said, I'm not betting against Kansas City I'm still picking them against the field, but I'm not picking them to go undefeated. So this could be a game that they slip up on before they start getting into their bye season. So this might be one they need to shake off. So but those two in particular, and obviously I need Tampa Bay to beat Baltimore to keep them off the Steelers' hands, hoping that the Steelers can certainly beat the Jets, even despite their new acquisition of Devontae Adams. So with that, final thoughts just as we go around the room. Shawnee, anything else in world of sports you want to just highlight?
My final thoughts is I still consider, because it's strictly trades and trade picks, I still consider a great trade robbery probably the most lopsided trade because it ultimately propelled the Cowboys to 3 championships.
Mm-hmm.
Herschel Walker going to the Vikings, he was still doing his thing. It's just the Vikings gave up everything to get him, and the Cowboys flipped it. It's like Jimmy just went to mastermind mode. Those picks, he released players off the team so he can get some more picks, and because of how the conditions will work, he masterminded that, and that's what ultimately built the Dynasty Cowboys picks, that draft when they sent up Herschel Walker. So I still consider that the most lopsided trade because it's strictly trade, but transaction, meaning like trade-in contracts and all that, that's by far Deshaun Watson. Because what the Browns did with between him, but trading Watson, I forgot the details with the Texans because the Texans got a load. Literally, the current Texan team, you could say that's the house that Deshaun Watson built. Because a lot of them trade picks, that's what picked up C.J. Stroud. That's what got Will Anderson. That's what ultimately led to them signing key free agents. But it was a mixture between the trade, and as soon as he came over there, he got this huge contract deal. He has not. I know earlier we was talking about quarterbacks not living up to his contract. He hasn't even come close to this. I mean, Cleveland they got nothing. He barely gave him worth $1 out of this $230 million that he's guaranteed. So the worst transaction I think in NFL history is going to go this Cleveland Texans trade contract whole scenario. Because I believe even though he won 2 Coach of the Year, Stefanski may end up getting fired because he won Coach of the Year when he had Mayfield and Flacco. He had no success with Watson, but Haslam wants Watson to play. And if he may have to find another coach who can have a success with Watson. It's all type of collateral damage. So that's why I got that the worst transaction.
Gotcha. Dante?
Man, on the positive side, I'm really looking forward to the Texas Longhorns and Georgia playing. Big Texas fan, and I feel like I was nervous going into the SEC, but the way that Steve Sarkisian, I got to give him his credit. I did not believe he was the right coach for the job. He's proved to me that he has. Love beating Oklahoma. It was an ugly game last week, but my thing is, you played a C game, you beat your rival by 30. So it's just like that. It's always a good day. I'm really excited to see because Georgia basically it's a playoff eliminator game for Georgia. If they lose this game, that's 2 SEC losses, and they're basically looking at guys opting out and going to playing in the bowl game, and then basically they're just playing spoiler. And so I'm really looking forward to see how Texas tests up with that. ESPN College Game Day is there. The lights are gonna be bright. Quinn had a rusty game in Oklahoma. I really need the rust to be off this week in practice. I think Isaiah Bond's gonna play in a game, and that Texas defense has been lights out. Shout out to Anthony Hill, who's a true sophomore, who's gonna be a day one pick, and the edge rusher I think that leads the team in sacks is Colin Simmons. He was at Dunkerville last year. That guy's a true freshman. It's a special group over there at Texas, and I'm looking forward to seeing them come out victorious against Georgia.
Gotcha. Just real quick on my end, congratulations. We have a new from the bodybuilding world. We have a new Mr. Olympia, Samson Dauda, first African, first Nigerian British a person to hold the Mr. Olympia title. So again, just shout out to him and his wife, because his wife actually prepped him for the contest. They didn't go with one of these super gurus or whatever. Shout out to him and his wife. They seem like a very dynamic couple. If you ever go to his YouTube page and check their content, they're just regular folks, but he just put the dedication in and he got it done. So again, congratulations to the new Mr. Olympia, and we'll see if he can repeat. Because that's the thing, is getting one. Anybody get one, but can't repeat with that. But Coach, as always, take us out.
Oh, man, it's appreciate, man, talking to y'all today, man, about this wild world of sports that we in. This is October. This is, I believe, Breast Cancer Month, and all breast cancer survivors, salute to y'all, man. Fellas, make sure y'all get y'all checkups, man. You can't be Superman without being strong. So get your checkups, man. Take care of your bodies, man. Let's help our children to get in better shape, man. The Olympics is coming up in 4 years, man. If we can get our babies to get into the gymnastic sports and all of this and track and field, man. It's a great opportunity, man. So again, man, let's get out, keep moving, man. End the year strong so we can talk about sports again till we leave here.
Absolutely. Well, again, thank you, everyone. Again, thank you for the chat. Yes, shout out to unfortunate that gentleman Liam Payne from One Direction died at 31 years old. Apparently, fell out of a window. Again, life is short, guys. Take care of yourselves, treat yourselves well, be around for a long time. Okay, but again, we thank you guys for coming on down and hanging out with us. So for myself, for Shawnee, Dante, Coach Ferg. We'll see you next week. Have a great weekend. Take care. God bless. We'll see you next time.
It's going down like a rodeo. It's going down like I told you so. It's going down like a rodeo. It's going down like I told you so. I hope you're all here for the ride. Come inside, cause it's going down tonight. Only here for one night, no lies. Come and saddle up a ride. Need a yeehaw, how ye. Here for one night and we just wanna party. In a fast car, a Ferrari. It's a push start, I don't need a car key. It's out on Broadway, and it's gnarly. On a late night, but I'm not tardy. Right on time for the parties and Barbies. Strolling with a chunk of green like a golf swing. Hey. Bottles on ice, mess around these skates. If I gotta say it twice, then I got nothing to say. It's going down like a rodeo. It's going down like I told you so. It's going down like a rodeo. It's going down like I told you so. I hope you're all here for the ride. Come inside, cause it's going down tonight. Only here for one night, no lies. Come and saddle up a ride. Come and kiss me up, it's going down. Like a train with no brakes, I'm not slowing down. See it showing up, we're showing out. But I pack